and I'm honored to have with me, standing with me today, is Councilmember Carlos Cisneros from District H. So thank you, Councilman, for being present. You'll be hearing from a number of persons this morning, but I will say just for introductions, Zion Escobar of Houston Freedmen's Town Conservancy, Tanya DeBose of Independent Heights Redevelopment Council, Harrison Guy of the Fifth Ward Cultural Arts District, Ramon Manning of Emancipation Park Conservancy, Janice Weavers with the Mayor's Office, and then Miguel Cesar of the African American Library at the Gregory School. So thank you all for joining us for an announcement of citywide festivities in celebration of Juneteenth this year, and to showcase how organizations are collaborating to make the events bigger and better than ever. Susan Christian is here, who's over special events, and then Nicole Irvin is also over the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. We know it is a little early, but there's a lot of excitement, and we want to capture that excitement and the momentum and ensure that everyone is aware of different events and can make plans to participate. I am, of course, joined by members of the Houston Citywide Juneteenth Planning Committee. That's the Houston Citywide Juneteenth Planning Committee, to announce the unification of Juneteenth celebrations by showcasing all events offered by Houston's historic communities in one space. I think this is the first time since I've been mayor that we've kind of had a unified effort. So all of these Juneteenth activities are coming together under one umbrella. And of course, joining me again, Zion Escobar with the Houston Freedmen's Town Conservancy, Tanya DeBose, the Independent Heights Redevelopment Council, Harrison Guy, the Fifth Ward Cultural Arts District, Ramon Manning of Emancipation Park Conservancy, Janice Weavers with the Mayor's Office, and Miguel Cesar with the African American Library and the Gregory School. Juneteenth has been recognized and celebrated as a day of freedom and emancipation around the world. And last year, following decades of local advocacy, President Biden signed into law Juneteenth as a federal holiday. And I want to give credit to Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of the 18th Congressional District and Senator John Cornyn. They both carried the bill, one in the House and one in the Senate, and made it happen. And of course, I want to just highlight and give special credit to former State Representative Al Edwards. He's no longer with us, but he got it started. So to former State Representative Al Edwards, I know you're on high looking down and smiling. Juneteenth commemorates the 1863 signing of the Emancipation Proclamation that freed formerly enslaved African Americans, but freedom from slavery wasn't announced in Texas until June 19, 1865 in Galveston. That was almost 157 years ago. This region has been honoring and celebrating Juneteenth since that day with two pivotal Houston historic moments. In 1872, 4 former slaves purchased the land to create Emancipation Park. This year marks the sesquicentennial for Emancipation Park, which for 150 years has been a safe space for families to gather on Juneteenth. And we cannot overlook the tenacious advocacy of late State Representative Al Edwards of Houston. Through his consistent leadership, Texas becoming the first state in the nation to make Juneteenth an official state holiday in 1979. And to mark this year's celebration, Houston's communities, organizations, and institutions have all come together. From Freedmen's Town to Acres Home, from Independent Heights to Miller Outdoor Theater, our community has not only continued to celebrate, but expand the understanding and importance of this history. So I'm pleased to announce that our community, Houston, has joined forces to celebrate freedom. Leaders from across the city are here this morning to showcase the events that will be happening in and around the city. And if you're like me, you plan to hit them all. And so now, it's no lie, plan to hit them all, you know. And now let me invite our first guest speaker, Zion Escobar from Houston Freedmen's Town Conservancy, to say a few words. Zion.
Thank you, Mayor. And good morning to everyone. morning. I am so thrilled and so humbled to be here to announce that, as you heard, for the first time, this Houston Citywide Juneteenth Planning Committee is unifying an impressive, very impressive series of Juneteenth celebrations by showcasing all events offered by Houston's historic communities in one place. So, the official Juneteenth Houston website will feature a series of events across the city taking place in the Freedmanstown Heritage District, in 4th Ward, Midtown Cultural Arts District, 3rd Ward Cultural Arts District, 5th Ward Cultural Arts District, Independence Heights, Acres Home, downtown, as well as surrounding neighborhoods and communities. We invite you to tap in to Juneteenth 2022 by visiting www.juneteenthhouston.org. Again, www.juneteenthhouston.org. And while we know this is not every Juneteenth event taking place, we hope that this is the beginning of deeper collaboration and connection within the Houston-Galveston region. As you know, this story is a regional story. This is the birthplace, this is the home. If you're interested in submitting your event to this website, please go to the website for more details, and we'll be sure to get back with you there. With that, I'd like to take a moment and set some additional context for the celebrations and revelations that are sure to punctuate this year's events. Before you prepare to turn up, I invite you to tap into the story of freedom, that is. Situated along Buffalo Bayou in Houston's 4th Ward, Freedmanstown was settled shortly after June 19th, 1865, thus Juneteenth, when enslaved African Americans were finally granted the freedom that had been legally theirs since the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation 2.5 years earlier. Could you imagine someone giving you that news late? That's the worst thing, right? So eager to begin their new lives in a new place as freed people, these men, women, and children from surrounding rural areas journeyed to Houston and began creating a community. In what became known as Freedmanstown, they built homes, schools, businesses, churches, and lives for themselves as free people. They built a world in which African Americans could prosper and thrive. Freedmanstown is where Black Houston took shape. It's the source of the city's early Black leadership. It's where the story of freedom truly began. As Houstonians, you should know this and take pride that that story begins here. The founding of Freedmanstown created the path for many of the communities you see represented here today. As we look to hear from today's community leaders, we celebrate the power and resiliency of our ancestors and recognize that we stand on the shoulders of giants. Speaking of leadership, I'd like to welcome Ms. Tanya DeBose of Independence Heights to the mic. Welcome, Tanya.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Mayor Ann Zine and my councilwoman of District H, Councilmember Carla Cisneros. And so I'm excited to be here this morning as a part of this citywide planning. I bring you greetings from the great state of Independence Heights, where we are the first city that was incorporated by African Americans in the state of Texas. And that was thank you, where formerly enslaved people who left the Brazos River Bottoms and the area of Warden and Galveston, who came into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Ward and eventually migrated over to Independence Heights by way of Green Pond, Cheneyville, 6th Ward, and 1st Ward. And so we came as a place where African Americans could own land. And after 600 residents were able to acquire land, in 1915, they went and incorporated and became the first Black city in the state of Texas. I am a 5th generation descendant of those people, and I would not be able to honor the ancestors without a celebration of Juneteenth, without joining in on this citywide initiative to make sure we bring attention to what our ancestors did in these spaces. And so for Juneteenth in Independence Heights, we are not going to have a huge event, but we are going to be a part of the Murals, Markers, and Mains tour, and so you definitely can sign up at the juneteenthhouston.org. We will also be unveiling 2 new markers, locally protected home of Miss Sammy Maxey, as well as Jackson's Barbershop on North Main and 35th Street. Additionally, we may be having a mock disaster drill, so if you're going to be joining us on June 18th, you might see some mock bodies in the street. And so we are just trying to make sure that we do our fair share of celebrating Juneteenth. And then on that next weekend, on June 26th, we will have our Main Street Marketplace to honor the 40 African-American businesses that were along North Main Street. So we're bringing back North Main Street, and we're glad to be celebrating Juneteenth with all of our other partners around the city. Thank you.
And next we'll have Harrison Guy, Fifth Ward Cultural Art District.
Y'all better clap for Fifth Ward. The nickel. Hello, I am Harrison Guy. I'm the Director of Arts and Culture for the Fifth Ward Cultural Arts District, and I am so excited about Juneteenth because I am personally from Galveston County. And if you know anything about Galveston and Galveston County, Juneteenth is celebrated like times 1,000. And something that I was taught growing up in celebrating Juneteenth, from pageants to parades to bazaars to all kinds of things, is that freedom is not freedom if it stays in one place. And so we're always taught that as we go out into the world that we would tell the story of Juneteenth and we would celebrate from wherever we are. So I'm so excited to celebrate it here in Houston in Fifth Ward where I work. The Fifth Ward Cultural Arts District is managed by the Fifth Ward Community Redevelopment Corporation. We're under the leadership of Kathy Flanagan Payton. And so we thought, what better way to celebrate Juneteenth and freedom but through art and business? And so in Fifth Ward, we will be showing our award-winning documentary, Memory Builds the Monument. And so Memory Builds the Monument is a short film, but it is mighty and it is powerful. It is about the Historic Club Matinee, which was a live music venue that was on Lyons Avenue. And that film, it was a love letter to the community. That's what it was meant to be, and a love letter to what it means to be a Black community, and all of its struggles and all of its challenges, but can still find a way to come together to do something great. And so that film went on to be nominated for a NAACP Image Award, and it also premiered at South by Southwest. On the website, you will see that we are showing it the Friday, the June 17th, at the Historic Deluxe Theater. All this history, all this Black culture. And so we have 3 opportunities for you to see that film at 6 p.m., 7:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. if you're a night owl and you want to get out late. And then on Saturday, we are also a part of the tours, the murals, markers, and Main Street. Lyons Avenue is what we've chosen to serve as our Main Street, and so you'll get to see some murals, and we'll talk about some markers and histories around Lyons Avenue, which was a thriving bloodline of the community. And then on Sunday, that's where we're going to celebrate Black business with Black Market. And so Black Market will be in East River from 1 to 5. And so all of this is on the website, so you don't have to remember it. But art and business is the way that we've decided to celebrate it in Fifth Ward. We are so excited to be a part of something that is communal. I think it speaks to the ancestral legacy of Juneteenth, and I can just imagine that our ancestors are so proud of what we are doing for the first time here in Houston this year. Thank you.
And from the nickel to the tray, Ramon Manning, Emancipation Park Conservancy in 3rd Ward.
Thank y'all. You know, good morning. On behalf of the Emancipation Park Conservancy Board, I just wanted to say this is extremely important that we're doing this. You know, I thought about leaving my office on the way over here. Man, I should prepare remarks, but this is all personal to all of us, Mayor. And so I didn't want to prepare any remarks. I just wanted to talk about how we got here just for a second, because we realized as a community how important this moment is. Juneteenth, now in its 2nd year being a federal holiday and having this celebratory aura around it, is great. However, this is a serious moment. And I can tell you, I'm here today to profess my love for these people because I've learned so much doing this time working on this stuff with them. And what's really important about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that these are valuable assets in our city that we use from an economic perspective to increase tourism dollars to get heads and beds in this city. There's a lot of rich history and culture in this city. And I thank the mayor for what he's doing, because most of the time we overlook this and we don't value this stuff. And this goes into all of our partners at Emancipation Park who understand the assignment. Some of y'all gonna get that in just a second, right? And so I think about the Kinder Foundation, who has done something that they've never done before, Mayor, at the scale that they've done it at. They don't support events, but Nancy and Rich understand the importance of this cultural and historic significance of these assets. And it's because of that that Emancipation Park and the Conservancy gets to distribute many grants so we can do all of this stuff. The crawl, the exhibition in the Cultural Center at Emancipation Park by the Gregory School. Come and see it. It's all the historic photos at Emancipation Park from the 1800s all the way through the 1900s. It's Freedman's Town. All of this collaboration is so important. And y'all know we are doing something phenomenal at Emancipation Park, but we could not do it alone without all of these people. And this wasn't something that just popped up. This was planning. How long, Danielle? Where's Danielle? Mayor, we've been working on this for months. And so I just want to close by saying we're going to have fun. This is a celebratory moment, but this is also a serious moment. See y'all on Juneteenth.
Well, thank you. From Freeman's Town to Independent Heights, to the Nickel, to the Tray, and now Janice Weaver will speak about the Fofo.
It is with great delight. That's right, y'all give it up for the Fofo. But a third generation.
That means Acres Home for people.
But a third generation from Citywood.
There you go.
32nd Street, that is. But I am here to talk about the Acres Home Juneteenth Parade, which will be held on June 18th in Acres Home. This parade will begin at the Acres Home Multi-Service Center, and it will end on Dolly Wright at the church. And so we have plenty of space for you guys if you want to be in this parade. This is where you're going to start Juneteenth off, on June 18th, guys. So at 10 o'clock a.m., we will be there. Susan Christensen and her team from the Mayor's Office of Special Events has been working very, very hard in making sure that this 9th annual parade is a great parade, because we know it will be. It has been for 9 years. And so we hope to see you there, because as the mayor said, we're going to be hitting it all over town on Juneteenth. So we'll start off at the parade, Mayor, right? You might do a little bit more than me. But we'll be at Emancipation Park, and we will also be at Miller Outdoor Theater and in many other places. So thank you so much to my colleague, Nicole Irvin. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. And we'll see you on June 18th. Thank you.
And then returning now back to the Freemanstown area, Mikhail Cesar with the African American Library at the Gregory School.
Good morning. My name is Miguel Caesar. I'm the manager at the African American Library at the Gregory School, one of 3 special collections held by Houston Public Library System. And on behalf of my director, Dr. Ray Lawson, and the City of Houston, we are very excited to be a part of the citywide initiative for planning for Juneteenth 150 celebration. So just a little bit about the history of the Gregory School. We were established 5 years after emancipation in 1870 for children of formerly enslaved African Americans in the Houston area. We're located in 4th Ward, historic Freemanstown, and which is considered the oldest established African American community in Houston. Our current facility was built in 1926, and it is a historical landmark. It served as a school until 1984 due to integration It was closed down, but in 2008, it was purchased by the City of Houston from Houston Independent School District and reopened as a African American Archives Research Center that we're known for today. So that was a little history. Our mission at the Gregory School is to preserve, promote, and make accessible African American history as it relates to Houston and the surrounding areas. With that being said, it was very important to continue in the collaborative effort in which Emancipation Park was built by the community, church members, businessmen coming together to purchase land to have a celebration for Juneteenth. So it's in that same spirit that we wanted to make sure that we were involved in the citywide initiative to celebrate this monumental 150-year anniversary. I would like to thank Emancipation Park. We actually received one of those mini grants. He kind of spilled the beans on. So what we will be doing and how we will be contributing to the festivities, we will have a pop-up exhibit titled Jubilee, A Celebration of Freedom, which will document the Juneteenth as well as the evolution of Emancipation Park and its relationship to Houston. It will feature images and archives from the African American Library as well as the Houston Public Metropolitan Research Center that will illustrate celebrations from the late 19th century to contemporary times as well as the significant events that happened at the park. We will also be on hand at different events at the park to kind of give more details into the exhibit, giving more insight of what the actual, what it means to have this park, to have this land, and to see the celebrations. We will also be, as mentioned earlier, one of the historical stops on the murals, markers, and Main Street tours. We will have staff on standby at the site to give more detailed information about the permanent galleries that we have at our facility that details the history of African Americans, not only in 4th Ward, 3rd Ward, but throughout the city. Also being a part of the Houston Public Library system, we will be hosting an event with Annette Gordon-Reed, which is the author of On Juneteenth. You can go to our website, houstonpubliclibrary.org, to figure out more celebrations going on at local branches. Once again, we're very excited to be a part of the citywide community efforts in celebrating Juneteenth, and we look forward to seeing you at our facility at Emancipation Park. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers, and I just wanted to offer just a quick closing statement. I wanted us to mark this as the beginning of deeper understanding of the Juneteenth holiday. Many can get lost in the commercialization. I want you to very deeply ground yourself in what this is really about. We mark this as the beginning of greater impact, and much like the early settlers of 3rd, 4th, 5th Ward and beyond, more intentional collaboration, which is what you see here today. Our intentions are set, and we invite you to join us. Houston, we are stronger together, not just in times of tribulation, but also during times of jubilation. And what an incredible lineup of excellence and excitement we have before us. Join us in jubilation this year as we celebrate Juneteenth 2022 and look forward to Houston being the destination for all things Juneteenth in years to come. I have to give a shameless plug to things happening in Freedmanstown, so if you'll bear with me, know that Freedmanstown will be part of the Markers, Murals, and Mains tour, as well as there'll be events and pop-ups happening with the Yates Museum, with other cultural organizations within Freedmanstown, so please come out, learn more, and don't forget to reserve your spot to that tour taking place. Mayor?
Let me thank all the presenters, the speakers. Are there any questions as it relates to this particular event from anyone? Any questions? Think you got it? All right, good. Then I think we're going to take just a few pictures, and then we'll wrap it up, okay?